Hello and welcome to the first episode in my series. This is going to be Alpha Clone to Omega using Abyssals and the Minmatar race ships only. So if you are new, this is EVE Online, and this is just essentially a big spaceship game where you go around and you fly wonderful spaceships all over New Eden. And it's a very time-consuming game. It's an MMORPG. It takes years to learn skills and fly ships that you want to fly and all sorts of things like that. But really, your patience is paid off. I've been playing this game for a number of years now, and it's really come into its own. I just love space. I love spaceships. This is actually an alternate account of mine called Idris Wycliffe, and I've actually got a main account called Kennedy and another main alt that I use called Lincoln, named after presidents, obviously. And those are my main characters. Kennedy's got like 35 million skill points, and Lincoln has like 19 million. Idris I just created, well, I created a while ago, but I hadn't been training skills on him for a long time, and he's an alpha clone. So I wanted to play some EVE again recently. I got back into it, and I found out there was this thing introduced last year called Abyssal Deadspace, and what that basically is like a timed dungeon where you fly in with your ship. You've got 20 minutes to clear 3 rooms, and once you clear those 3 rooms, then you are, you're done. And along the way, you collect basically like loot from these caches. And if you don't escape within 20 minutes, your ship is destroyed, and you are, as a pilot, you are killed. And when that happens, you lose all your implants because, this is a futuristic game. You can have implants. See, I've got these 2 implants here. If I die in an Abyssal Deadspace, or if I don't make it out, I will lose these implants, which isn't a big deal for me because these are very cheap. But, when you get into the later game, you've got like multiple billion, currency in this game is called ISK, multiple billion ISK implants. And yeah, to give you an idea, I've been playing this game or at least playing this character for maybe about a week, and I've got like 10 million ISK. And that's after doing the career starting and all that. So I have spent some stuff on some ISK on skins. As you can see, I've been flying this Thrasher here, which is a Minmatar destroyer. If we look at the ship tree here. So in the Minmatar race, these are all the different races of ships. When you start the game, you can pick one of 4 races, and for this account, I chose the Minmatar, but I usually fly Amarian ships or Caldari ships on my main account, Kennedy and Lincoln. But you can see here in the destroyer class, we've got the Thrasher and the Talwar. Now, I am training cannons, which are projectile turrets, and the Thrasher has bonuses to those, so that's why I'm using the Thrasher. Now, the reason I want to use Minmatar for these Abyssals is usually Amar ships and a lot of Caldari ships or faction ships are used to fly these. And most every other race would have a pretty easy time. Now, there are some exceptions with Minmatar, like if you fly the Tech 2 cruiser, the Vagabond, it works pretty well. But as far as Tech 1, like, you don't see very many, if at all, Minmatar ships flying these Abyssal Deadspace filaments. So what I want to do here is something kind of tricky, and it's probably going to take a while, and I'm just going to play, a couple hours every week and just see how far I can get. There's different tiers of Abyssal Deadspace, and progressing through the tiers, you start to get more and more loot, and depending on the class of ship you fly, you get more loot. So if you fly a frigate, you're going to get more loot than if you're flying a destroyer or a cruiser, in that order. Cruisers get the least amount of loot, and frigates get the most for each tier. But every tier you go up, your loot is essentially doubled. So starting out at tier 1, you get maybe like 1 million per run, and then you start getting like 2 or 3 million per run, and then 6 to 7, and then 10 to 12. It kind of goes up more exponentially. I can show a graph. There's a very useful website called Abyssal Tracker, and that is where I'll be logging all of the Abyss runs I do, basically, for Idris Wycliffe. So I'll link that in the description, and you can follow along on my journey and what Abyssal runs I'm doing, how much money I'm making, and what fits I'm using. So this is a very fresh Alpha Clone account. I'm not going to be training any Omega skills. I'm not going to be injecting anything other than my usual login bonuses and skilling sprees, whatever. I'm only going to use what the game gives me, and I'm not going to use any real money at all, because I already use real money on my 2 main accounts and I don't want to pay for another one. But I thought it'd be a fun challenge. I really like the idea of autocannons and projectile cannons, and those aren't commonly used in these Abyssal sites either. So there's certainly a lot of stuff going on here, and oh, something is going on over here. I can warp over to this. It looks like this. So this is a player station, actually, that someone has built. And yeah, someone needs to remove this. Their corporation is under some sort of war or something. Yeah, it looks like there's a war going on right here. And whoever they're against in war has started to destroy their giant station here. And that's just kind of crazy. You just look at this station, how massive this is compared to my little ship over here. Like, you can't even see my ship. Where is my ship? Yeah, look at that. This is my ship right here. It's incredible. But yeah, I wonder why this is being destroyed. It's a really nice station, and it's like right in front of the sun. Like, it's really cool, but unfortunate it has to be destroyed. Alright, so now I'm warping to a safe spot, and that is a spot in space I have created that is theoretically safe. Now, I say theoretically because another pilot could very easily scan me down if he wanted to. There are things in this game that you can use to find other players that are just sitting in open space like this, but it's not on a landmark. So like all these things on the right side, like this is like my main overview here. These are all the landmarks in the area. So if I was at any one of these, any person could find me. And I also can't open these filaments near landmarks. So I have to go make a pocket in space that's just for me. So to give you an idea of what these Dead Space runs are like, I'm going to do one real quick. So I'm going to take my Thrasher in here. I need to add myself to a fleet. If you're doing this in a destroyer or a frigate, you do need to add yourself to a fleet for some reason. I'm in a fleet. There we go. So you hit activate. It uses up these as a resource. These are like keys, basically. And it's one of them for cruisers, 2 for destroyer, and 3 for frigate. The cost, I should say. So we're going to jump in here. I'm going to activate my armor repairing. We're just going to go right at this guy. This Ephes Lancer. We're going to go ahead and look at him. This is what the guy looks like. And he's a cruiser class. So he is much bigger than my ship, but we can take him out relatively easily. This is the very first tier. These Tranquils, these are tier 0. These are the easiest Abyssal runs possible. And so very simple. Yes, he's attacking. It's kind of scary, but I have very high confidence that I will be able to take care of this guy. And you can see my cannons are shooting him. I've got a little rocket launcher shooting him. I've got him slowed down. And I'm just flying around him, taking him out here. And now he's doing damage to me. And I've got 3 bars here. I've got shield, armor, and structure. But you don't need to worry about the shield. It makes a scary noise when it gets low, but this is an armor tanked ship. So I rely on healing my armor with these modules here. And see, we've already taken care of that guy. I'm going to loot the can over here. But as I was saying, I rely on these armor repairs to give me health back. So I'm not relying on shield at all. So it is fine if my shield dies. No problem. So my cannons only have a certain amount of range. It's within about 7,000 meters roughly. So I gotta wait till I get within that range of this cannon. Or sorry, of this can, so that I can take the loot out of it. You can see. And now we just go to the next room. So I gotta go, this is like the warp gate that takes me to the next place. And we can see some of the items I got here. the Calm Exotic Filament, the Triglavian Survey, the Crystalline Isogen, and the Triglavian Survey. And this is what I will use to be, hopefully one day, plexing my account. Now, I'm not trying to do this within a month. I'm just trying to do it. I'm just trying to get to a point from an alpha clone to a point where I can buy Omega status. That's my goal here. So it's probably going to take a little while, but I do want to work at it. I want to be reasonable about it, though. I don't want to make it, you know, I'm playing 8 hours a day for a month to get a Omega clone, which, you know, you might be able to do, but it's just not reasonable for me as a person who has a full-time job and, you know, a house, a wife, the usual. You're busy. We're busy people. So I just wanted to do this as more of like an experiment for myself, if I could do it or not. So now, something I forgot to mention, every single room I go through is a randomized wave, so different enemies every time, and the different enemies can attack differently, you know, do different damage and whatnot, and have different effects on me. Some can slow me down, some can try to take my energy away so I can't heal myself. Luckily that doesn't really happen in the lower tiers, like tier 0, but that's really no issue for me here. So that now we're in the third room, and you can see we've got 16 minutes left, so we're still doing pretty good here. So we're gonna go ahead and approach these guys. This looks like a similar wave to last time. These Teslas are pretty easy to kill. Don't really have too many issues with them. So we're gonna lock him up, we're gonna approach him. As soon as I get in range, I can slow him with this module, just like that. And then I can start shooting him with my rockets and my guns. And that's the shield making a scary noise again because it got low. But remember, we're armor tanking here, so our shields going low is not very scary. You see, as soon as our armor goes down, we heal it. So we're gonna approach this guy again. Get our slower, our Webifier is what it's called. Makes him slow. You can see him slowing down quite a bit here as velocity was going down. It's usually up in the thousands, so he's slowed quite a bit. And then we're gonna go loot this can again. This Triglavian Biocommutative Cache. So I'm gonna go fly over to this thing. And once I'm in range with my guns, I'll go ahead and shoot it. And then we'll be done. So this is a very cheap and very quick, efficient tier 0 Thrasher build here, and you can see I actually went too fast and I bumped right into it and I bounced off. So I actually have to reapproach it, and then we'll be okay. And I can get my loot just like that, and we'll get out of here. So that's about, we can take a look here. If we select everything I've gotten here, that's about 1.5 million ISK worth of loot. Now, to give you an idea, a Plex is about 1.5 billion ISK. So I would have to run, what is that calculation? 1,000? 100,000? I don't know if I'm doing my math correctly. Let me... So 1.5 billion divided by 15... Sorry, not 15. Yeah, sorry. 1,000 times, not 100,000. I don't know what I was saying. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the station here and dock. So I would have to do that run 1,000 times, basically, to get a Plex. Now, that's quite a few times, and we can upgrade and do higher tiers to give us more loot and make us more efficient. So instead of getting 1.5 million ISK in 5 minutes, we can maybe do 5 million ISK in 5 minutes. And that would be like a tier 1 sort of thing. And then eventually, if I get to tier 2, we can do more like 10 million ISK in about 10 minutes or something like that. We'll have to see how it works out, and there'll be a lot of theory crafting here because there's not a lot of builds doing what I'm doing. I have played this game for quite a long time, and I am trusting my instincts and my knowledge of this game to make some builds that will work, and I will of course share them with everyone. I'm not saying this is a guide for you necessarily. This is more so just me documenting my experience here. So if you would like guides, I would highly recommend checking out this YouTuber. His name is Aceface, and he has done thousands of Abyssal runs. He is very experienced. He can do the highest tier, which is tier 6, and he's got some great videos out there on how to run Abyssals and what ships to use, what fits, and they'll be much more efficient than mine, of course. But I was actually, this Thrasher fit I'm using currently was inspired by one of his videos, and that's kind of what started this whole thing. Is he is actually doing an Abyssal T0 to T6 account. So I'm doing something sort of similar, where I'm doing this alpha to omega clone using Abyssals only. Yeah, so this also is not how the ship normally looks. Like I said, I bought a skin. All of the Minmatar ships usually look more orange and rusted because that's like kind of the lore. Very orange and rusty looking ships. But I like a bit more brightness and flamboyance, so I bought some really flashy skins here. Like a blue and white, orange and dark blue, like teal, shiny, and matte black. This like teal and purple, pink rainbow with aurora effects. A bit more flashy. I really like this skin though, and it was super cheap for this ship. So anyways, I want to thank you so much for watching this, and look forward to the next episode of my Alpha Clone to Omega Clone series here. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. All the links that I've mentioned during the video will be in the description, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.